I looked at a photo of me. I was in like in a bikini. I remember like wearing it that day and feeling really fat. The fact that when I'm asked my size, I immediately feel insecure about it.
It's more style and our body proportions.
Yeah, body proportion.
Yes, and your personality too, because I'm trying to be cool and you're trying to be
you.
This drug is also $625 a month.
So you like have to hate yourself $625 a month worth to...
That's a good way of putting it.
And I was like, am I like doing this all wrong? Like, should I have moved to New York? Hello.
Wait, I was cleaning my nose. Okay.
Hi.
It's been a wild week. I know we say that
every week,
single week, but
it actually has been a wild week.
I think each week just gets more wild than the next.
Yeah.
Not saying good or bad, but like just
basically like this week, I had a super busy week at work and like just was like seeing people like back to back to back to back is so exhausting because we're like returned to office, and so you go from like zero stimulation like at home to a bajillion.
It 0 to 100 real quick, and it drains your battery really fast too.
It really does. And like we went to Disneyland yesterday, like work trip, and I love Disneyland, but you're asking like, oh, how did it go? Like, how was it? And I was just like, honestly, like I was so tired from the week that I could barely like enjoy the day. But basically, I think also what's been so tiring is I've been having good conversations with people, but I've also been having conversations that have made me really uncomfortable this week for a lot of reasons, for so many reasons. But kind of what I wanted to talk about today specifically was like a conversation that I had with a friend who wanted to talk about clothes. And when you talk about clothes, it's very easy to talk about what size that you're going to be getting.
I don't really think she was trying to talk about clothes though, but I don't know her. So I think it was really just an insecurity or a comparison kind of thing.
Agreed.
So that's what we're going to dig into today. We're going to talk about comparisons, physical ones, but also social?
Yeah.
Mental?
Yeah, I think comparisons among friends.
But first, hi, I'm Janice.
Hi, I'm Emily.
And this is 4 years later, where
we talk about the unglamorous parts about being in your mid-20s as Asian American women all 4 years after college.
Okay, so tell me about this uncomfortable conversation. Like, what did she talk about?
We were talking about like work clothes, because when you go out to the office, right, we're all used to wearing sweats and stuff. And so, I mean, as we all are, I feel like COVID, like we just stopped buying clothes to look good and to wear out. And suddenly back to office, it's like, okay, I better dig up all my business cash or whatever, just like something slightly nicer than what I'm wearing at home. And I bought some new clothes that I was like feeling confident in, and I was like excited to wear. I got tailored, like I was really excited about it. And one of my friends, like we shop at the same stores anyways, and she was like, oh, like I love your shirt. Like, where'd you get it? And I said where I got it, and she said, oh, like what size is it? And my like heart kind of dropped, which is such a horrible feeling, that the fact that when I'm asked my size, I immediately feel insecure about it.
But also you weren't expecting that question because you were telling me she's a lot smaller than you already. So why that wouldn't even cross your mind that she would ask you, because it's not like she's going to buy the exact same size as you.
Exactly. And even if she was going to buy the same size as me, like, am I going to just give you my shirt to borrow? Like, I don't know, like, why we would need to, like, exchange that information. And I was, like, totally caught off guard because, like, you and I talk about clothes all the time.
You're right. I didn't even think about that.
I was actually thinking about that a lot during that point in time, because I was thinking, I immediately thought about you because I was like,
She's always thinking about me.
I was like, okay, Janice and I talk about clothes constantly. Like you're always sending me links and I'm like, oh yeah, I like that, whatever. And a lot of times when Janice sends me links, like I also like
She buys everything I buy.
I wanna
Honestly,
buy
at this
it.
point, I need an affiliate link just for Emily, and I'm not getting
And
my
you'd
10%.
make money. You would
I
make a lot of money.
And I need that money right now.
Yeah.
That is my one source
new
of
job.
income.
Hey, ideas. I feel like I would use your affiliate link all the Janice is my influencer of choice.
Honestly, shocked that I'm influencing someone.
Yes. But
continue.
anyways, so
we
like
talk about clothes all the time. So true.
we do, and you've never made me feel bad about clothes ever. And like that's what I love about us talking about clothes and shopping. And if we went shopping together, it'd be great. We'd have fun. And I feel like when I talk about clothes with this friend, like there have been other times where I felt very vulnerable, like talking about what I want to buy because my size isn't in stock, and then it's like it makes it obvious what size I am, or like, and like when we look for clothes for each other, like that just like has never come up. It's never been a problem between us. Like
I didn't even think about that until you just said that, but yeah, because
like,
we just talk about the style
exactly.
And
there's no need, but like why? Like why would I bring it up to you? Like, oh, Janice, like
yeah,
they
and
don't
why
have
would
your
I bring
size.
it up to you?
Exactly, because it doesn't matter, right?
I think it's okay. Sorry to interject, but I think that it's also because we talk about the style, like, oh, that wouldn't be a good fit for me. That's not a good fit for my body
type. Yeah.
Versus what size are you?
Yeah, that's true. We do talk about body types.
Because you're like, oh, that would look cute on you, but not on me. Or I'd be like, oh, I can see that on you,
yes,
but that's not my style, or something like that. It's more style and our body proportions.
Yeah, body proportion.
Yes, and your personality too, because I'm trying to be cool and you're trying to be
you.
so good. That was so
It's
good.
true.
That's so good.
Oh my god.
I was caught off guard there. So true. But yeah, I think that's why, because I'm never like, oh, what size are you?
Yeah, but
girl.
But you're able to pick things out for me. Like Janice sent me a link the other day to something, and it was never ever about what size it was. So, anyways, so it just like made me really think about like why this conversation came up, like why it's one of the first times I'm like feeling this way with a friend.
Yeah.
Because I've never felt like that from any of my friends, that I was being compared to. Because that's kind of what it means, right? Like if you're asking someone what size they are, like in the back of your mind, it's to see how you stack up against that person's size.
Did she do anything prior to asking you about your size that already kind of makes you feel like she's comparing herself to you, or you're comparing yourself to her?
Yes, I think there have definitely been signs of like talking about exercising, or like talking about what we're gonna have to eat that day if we're like going out to dinner or something. Like that definitely has like come up in the past, like what you're gonna order when we go out to dinner, like too. And I feel like a lot of pressure, I guess, in those conversations, like about food, about clothes, about exercising, because so much of our lives do revolve around the way we look. Jinx. Beat you.
I don't think that's what you say if you say jinx at the same time. I think you say like, oh,
Jinx
Minnesota.
again?
I don't know.
Yeah, but then I said jinx, and then, oh, I should have said, oh, yeah, you're right.
Okay, never mind.
That's like, anyways. What are the rules to jinx? Like, anyways, but yeah, like, I just feel like I felt very cornered, I guess, in a way that I haven't felt with other people.
So when I heard this story, I kind of got mad for you. Because I do think that, yes, you can talk about what size you are if it's relevant. Like if I know that my friend is the same size as me or similar, I'll ask, because for certain stores you can't return things.
Yeah.
And then I like those pants or whatever it is, and I want that.
Oh, I could
and
see
so
that.
I'll be like, oh, what size are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah.
But like for someone who just has a different body type than me, I'm not going to ask and then be like, okay, well, how do I estimate from there? Because I know that I'm not going to be the same fit as the other person.
Right.
But I felt mad for you because I think that, and this is my whole thing, that she might just be projecting because of the things that are going on in her life. But it is really awful to be constantly reminded of what you already are self-conscious about.
Yeah.
And everyone tells you to embrace your body type and your image. But I think we're surrounded by all these slim people that remind you or make you just feel like, you know, even if you want to celebrate it, it's really hard to.
I agree. Yeah. I feel like TikTok has helped and it's hurt in that way where like when I'm scrolling on TikTok or on Instagram, like I'm seeing models, I'm seeing like gorgeous influencers, and the majority of the women that end up on my For You page are very thin. And I don't want to say that I'm not thin because I also recognize the privilege of like being my size as well. But like there's a difference between my size and a size 0. It's just different. And so like seeing those people on my page, it doesn't make me feel great. I feel like I also see influencers that do talk about like body positivity as well and like different ways that they've been able to like manage those like size insecurities. And so what was so hard, I think, about that interaction with my friend was that I thought I was like making some good progress on my mentality on size. Like, okay, for instance, the jeans I'm wearing today were a big step for me.
Yeah, Emily wears them every day. She never washes it.
These are my favorite jeans. There's the A. Goldie crisscross jeans, as everyone probably can tell.
Every photo, every day.
I wear these jeans. I have them in 2 different washes.
But you look good in them, and you feel great in them.
I've never felt more confident in a pair of jeans than these jeans. And the reason why I feel confident in them is because I didn't try to squeeze my body into a size that I wasn't anymore. Like normally, like I sized up actually. These are like baggier, loose jeans. They don't fit me like perfectly, but I feel so good in them knowing that like I have space to move around in them. Like I don't feel constricted when I'm sitting here. Like they're so soft and comfortable.
You're
and
not
like
constantly adjusting.
No, and I'm not like I have all my other pairs of jeans, they're my size in my head, but every manufacturer and brand like
they're all different.
They all have different sizing metrics, and so it might be my size in my head, but it actually doesn't really fit me very well. Or if it looks okay, it doesn't feel good, right?
I think that's what a lot of people on TikTok were talking about, that it's psychological.
Yes.
Like, even though it is your size, it's different. So when you size up, you feel like you got fatter.
Yes.
And then when you size down, you're like, oh my God, I lost weight.
And in reality, nothing has changed except for the number and the back of your pants. And like, what was so mind-blowing for me when buying these and like buying them in the size that I did was like the size up mentality. Like, I saw this girl talking about it on TikTok, and she basically just said, if your clothes don't fit you because they're too small, then you literally just need a bigger size. And all you need to do is go out and buy a bigger size. And suddenly it's going to look like way better.
But it's the acceptance that you are a bigger size that is the barrier, I feel like. Well, at least for me.
It is for me too.
And I think we were talking about this before when we first met, and you were trying on your Reformation dress.
Yes.
And you were in the changing room.
Yeah.
And you're like, Janice, I have to go like 2 sizes up my normal dress. I feel so insecure. And immediately then when you look at yourself in the mirror, you already feel not confident. Like you don't feel like it's great.
Yeah.
But what I was saying to you, I remember, because I was also thinking about this too.
Oh, yeah.
Was that nobody knows your size ever. Like when you're out on the streets, all you're going to do when you see someone is you're going to be like, that looks really good on her, right? Because it fit you well. But no one's going to be like, oh, I wonder what size those jeans are. You're just going to say that's good or bad, but there's no number or sizing involved.
Yeah.
And it's just you that knows your size.
That like really changed my perspective on sizing too. Like, that like hit me really hard because I was like, that is so true.
Another moment where I'm an influencer in Emily's life.
It's really true. Like I took that and I wrote it down in my notes because I was like, that is a life-changing thing to say, right? Because you're like, I walk around all day long and think about what size I am. Like what?
But do you ever see someone else wearing it?
And I've never looked at you and said, oh, I bet Janice is wearing I've never been like, size small, size, like I've never done that.
Yeah, and I've never done that either. To any, I'm like, oh my gosh, that bodysuit looks really good on her. Where did she get it?
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of all I ever think about, but it's hard putting it on yourself and knowing that is your size.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think, like we've said before, it's like so much easier said than done, but trying to change your mentality to the acceptance the acceptance phase of this is my size, like this is what I look like today, right now. Not thinking about maybe if I bought that smaller size, like in a week, I'll be able to fit into it. Like once I've digested, I'll be able to, like all these, like once I hit this, like I'll be able to, it's like, well, what looks good on me right now? And getting that and like serving yourself in that way has been such a journey for me, you know?
Totally. I think another thing to think about, sometimes I think about it now too, it's like, okay, if I did fit into this smaller size, how would it make me feel and look? And either it's like it's too tight and something I'm really self-conscious about is coming out and I don't like it, and I'm like, why am I buying this then? To feel self-conscious, to prove to myself I'm wearing a smaller size, because I can't even wear that out. Like I would just be trying to suck in. I'd be thinking about it the entire time. But it's such a thing, like body image, I think is something that a lot of girls compare themselves to, especially with your girlfriends, where everybody's different. And even I do that. I am sensitive about saying that I'm conscious of my body because, I mean, this is not a brag. I can't even say it, but like.
Okay, you want me to say it?
Yeah.
You are a size and body type that I think a lot of girls would strive for. Right.
I don't know if they'll strive for it, but like.
Idolize. It's, what's the word? You are thin.
I'm just, or whatever is socially acceptable, like that is whatever I am. So it's like, why would you ever think about it, right? Why would you be insecure?
Yeah.
So it is a tough thing for me to bring up, but in my head, it's always like, you can look better, you can be skinnier, you can do this. And again, all the influencers on TikTok, even if they're not there to promote their looks and whatever, I think that when you are like a fashion influencer, a makeup one, or beauty one, you're still kind of catering to that model standard. And so seeing that reminds me all the time, oh, but even though I'm socially accepted or whatever, like the one that everyone wants to be, I'm still not like, I still don't look like that, and I want to look like that. And I think it's an insecurity, and I worry about it because I used to be a lot bigger when I was a competitive swimmer, and I would eat like a ton of food. And I was really muscular back then. And now that I've stopped swimming and I'm doing different types of exercises, I've slimmed down. And I guess because society likes this look, I feel confident in it. Yeah. But because I've been a different body shape before, I now am always thinking about, oh my God, there's a possibility that if I don't watch myself, if I don't whatever,
you'll go back.
Yes. And then I'll feel less confident about myself.
Yeah.
And so that's why I always compare it, because I'm like, how does she look like that naturally? How does that influencer look like that?
And as in like, oh, it took you a lot to get to where you are now.
And I might be able to like go backwards, but this
interesting.
influencer like just looks like that.
Gets out of bed and like has always gotten out of bed and just looked like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting.
But you don't actually know if she does that.
No, you don't. You really don't know if she does that.
Because I read this article, and I'll pull it up by the cut that my friend sent to me about, it's called Life After Food, and it was published February 27, 2023. I don't know why I said that. And it's about this drug called Ozempic. I think I'm saying it right.
I think I've heard of that on TikTok.
Okay, so it is a diabetes miracle drug which works by mimicking a naturally occurring hormone, GLP-1, to manage hunger and slow stomach emptying. And the article talks about how this girl, Allison, who is an actress, is not diabetic or pre-diabetic or overweight, and how she takes it to be thin. Because she says that, let me see. There was a quote.
Oh, okay.
She says, somebody once told me I had a size 0 personality and they assumed that I was thinner than I was. We don't talk about it, but everybody knows it. Thin is power. And then it talks about potential rumored Hollywood Ozempic parties where they inject themselves with this to not feel hungry and not eat.
Crazy.
And it got me kind of thinking, nobody's ever confirmed if this is true or not, but you don't actually know why someone looks the way they look.
Yeah, you never know.
And that kind of helps me because, first of all, my job and my survival does not depend on how thin I am and how I look.
Right.
Whereas maybe some models it does. And that's really unfortunate. And so that's the thought that consumes them all their life, 24/7.
Right.
And I should embrace that. That's not something that I need to rely on to be able to be successful in life.
Yeah. That's a really good way to think about it. I feel like obviously horrified that first of all you would willingly put a needle into your body.
Yeah, I'm already terrified of getting my COVID vaccine.
Yeah, like I don't want to be thinking someone else doing it, but imagining it myself is like really scary. But also just the fact of like taking medication for a disease that you don't have, seeking like the side effects is like so scary because you're like, well, how is that going to affect other parts of your brain, like your just physical health, not related to how skinny you are, you know, like you're putting something into your body that you do not need medically, right?
No, because it's supposed to lower your blood sugar level, and the side effects are that it causes like nausea, constipation, something. There's a lot, and
I'm sure a list. Yeah,
there's a whole vomiting, diarrhea. Oh my God. And she was like, oh, for me, it's just, she says, it's kind of like being on a very low dosage of Adderall without the crack feeling. And that she's felt fatigue, but it's all temporary, and she thinks she feels the benefits more.
Of course she does. Yeah.
This drug is also $625 a month.
So you like have to hate yourself $625 a month worth to.
That's a good way of putting it.
Take that drug.
And so when I read that article, I was just thinking about how far this whole comparison thing can take someone.
Yeah, it really can. And actually, the first thing I thought of when you said, I don't know who Allison is, but like I think about like influencers like Victoria Paris and other women that get work done, right? To change the way that they look. But like you were saying, you felt insecure because you're like, how do these beautiful girls on my For You page look like that? Is it natural? Do they just get up, or are they taking Ozempic, or are they getting plastic surgery? And what I love about Victoria Paris is that she like has a whole like highlight on her Instagram of all the surgeries that she's had done. Because that's another thing, right? Like, is that the same thing to you? Is taking Ozempic the same thing as like getting plastic surgery?